Further escalation of the war, whether by accident or design, threatens all of humanity. Raising the alert of Russian nuclear forces is a bone-chilling development. The prospect of nuclear conflict, once unthinkable, is now back within the realm of possibility.
Bare minimum, this is how you get a massive war with hundreds of thousands of dead Western and Russian troops. And so this is the very scenario number 2, that most international and intelligence agency war games and Defense Department war games show will trigger nuclear war. Number 1 is Pakistan and India. Number 2 is the Ukrainian situation called the NATO-Ukraine-Russia war scenario that kills 1 billion people on the low end. And then the third scenario is the South China Sea, Taiwan, Hong Kong crisis being kicked off there that could happen between Vietnam and the Philippines against China. Anything could kick it off, where we already see skirmishes going on over these drilling rigs in the South China Sea and other areas, the artificial islands the Chinese are building. So that's where the world is right now. That's the reality. So when you see leftists calling for war, and when you see right-wingers calling for war and all this idiocy, you know the old saying, World War III will be fought with nuclear weapons. World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham suggesting the Russian people get rid of him.
You need to take this guy out by any means possible.
Putin is trying to bait the trap so that we go in, and that's the beginning, could be the beginning of World War III. Putin totally irresponsible, using weapons that are not allowed under the Geneva Convention. Putin, who threatens use of chemical weapons, nuclear, and the rest. So myself, when I see those tanks, that 40 miles of tanks, I'd like to take out those tanks. I mean, I think that them having more planes might be useful, but I'm not a military strategist.
And Russia now announcing they're likely to ban exports of wheat and oats and buckwheat and other grains all the way through June 30th. And that's on top of course, Ukraine banning the exports of all those grains and Hungary banning exports of wheat. Why is this happening? Because these countries know that there's a global shortage and that they have to protect their domestic supply. Now, China was very smart about this strategically. They bought up grain supplies around the world over the last, let's say, 8 months or so. They're sitting on about 18 months of wheat right now. But the United States does not have really a strategic grain supply. We're going to be facing severe shortages and price inflation in the grocery stores, hitting the U.S. in the second half of this year, accelerating from about August all the way through the end of the year. But I think what we're going to see in the United States is that the prices will get so high on not only grains, but then meat and dairy and eggs, because all of those products come from animals that are fed the grains. So most of the grains in the world are actually grown to feed animals, not to feed people. And so we're going to see huge increases in meat prices beyond what we've seen already. So flash mobs are going to start looting grocery stores in huge numbers and stealing the meat primarily. But just the food rationing, they will have to implement food rationing passports, which is a mark of the beast system to verify your identity. It might be a face scan, an iris scan, a thumbprint scan, or maybe just your mobile phone that's tied to your identity. There's going to be more stimulus money handed out and the money to buy groceries. There are going to be at least 10 million more Americans put on food stamps. Eventually, maybe in 23 or 24, they'll say that if you want to buy food under the food rationing system, you must use the central bank digital dollar control system. And that's how they're going to starve people into the mark of the beast, Federal Reserve crypto system controlled by the government.
So they're going to say we're terrorists and we're Russian sympathizers. Okay? So this is all a way to internationally take over, create a global crisis on the heels of the police state already set up under COVID-19, and now just roll that in to outlawing their opposition. So this is banking, technocratic, fifth, sixth generational warfare, economic against the people. It's called the Great Reset, Build Back Better.
Watch the American Journal weekday mornings 8 to 11 Central at band.video.
Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
The silent majority
is no longer
silent. This is The War Room with Owen Schroyer.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Alex Jones here with a very simple proposal for all our great InfoWars listeners and viewers. If you will simply get X3 with all three types of good iodine that boost your immune system and help everything that goes on in your body at the cellular level, it will change your life. It will invigorate you. It will empower you. Almost everyone has iodine deficiency. Look into it for yourself. It's the opposite of fluoride. It's the good halogen. And then your purchase of X3 funds our operation. Now, a lot of our products have been sold out and never came back in because of the lockdowns and supply chain breakdowns. We were sold out of X3 for a long time. And I had it on sale for 50% off, and a lot of folks were getting it. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to bring it back on sale again just until it sells out. Because even though we won't make as much money in the long run, a lot of folks need this product, and we need to get the money from the sales in now to stay on air. So your X3 right now at 50% off at InfoWarsStore.com.